this very small and quick notice press interaction with the representative from the cleaner. Here, observer is there, PBCJ is here, and I would like to welcome you all. I also would like to welcome Dr. Kunamupuri here, my friend who is based in Montego Bay, and we take this opportunity of his presence in Kingston so that he can join us in this short press briefing. You all know that India and Jamaica share a very good and cordial relationship, not only after the attainment of our independence of our respective countries, but also even before that, because of the migration of Indian people more than 177 years ago to Jamaica, and they have become an integral part of Jamaican society. And today, we celebrate the friendship of these two beautiful countries. We celebrate the democracies and the values that these two friendly countries cherish. And we also celebrate the contributions and the partnership of these two democratic and friendly countries. I am happy that all of you are here to join us this afternoon. Just to let you know that I have been here for the last more than 2 years, and during this time, even as the world, the globe as a whole, including Jamaica and India, went through difficult times, but we are emerging from those difficulties, and we are here today. Jamaica is doing very good in your macroeconomic parameters. India is the fastest major growing economies in the world, and the partnership also has grown. Last year in 2022 in May, President of India visited Jamaica. He was the first president to visit Jamaica in the last 60 years of our bilateral relationship. And that reflects that India accords an important place to Jamaica in our hearts. That much I want to say. And of course, in all the interactions, in all the multilateral fora, we have been having convergence in all the major global issues, be it in the UN reform, be it in the climate change, or be it those that concerns the global south and the smaller and developing countries issues. And I'm just would like to open this briefing with that remarks. Just also to share with you a few things about India. You are aware that India's GDP today is 3.5 trillion. The first trillion took us 67 years after our independence. The second trillion took us 8 years. The third trillion took us 5 years. So you understand exactly where we are going. From 2015 until now, that is 9 years, India moved ahead of Russia, Italy, Brazil, France, and recently UK, from number 10 to number 5 in the size of GDP. And we are actually knocking at the door of Germany, maybe by the end of this year or early next year, or definitely by next year. I think we will soon become the number 4 in terms of economic size. Even after the pandemic, India is, as I have mentioned, the fastest growing large economy on the planet. 1/3 of the GDP is driven by domestic demand. That is what India's growth model is. Demand is ahead of supply, and market forces are the ones which are driving it. India is the largest human resource on the planet at 1.4 billion population. India is the youngest on the planet all the way up to 2070. That's why our population will stabilize only in 2070 that we have today. 2023, so we have nearly 5 decades to remain as the youngest population in the world. I thought just to give you a small sample of the statistics or figures to throw around, that India is moving ahead. We have all the parameters that suggests that we'll be growing in the coming at least 2 decades or 3 decades with the human resource that we have, the population or the demographic dividend that we have. There's all indication that we will be growing more than 6 to 7% in the coming few decades. That's what we are looking at. I think we are in a very comfortable position, and we also would like to leverage the strength that we have, that so that we can share our development and progress with our partner countries. The specific reason why we would like to interact with you today is the many programs that India is carrying out with our partner countries, including Jamaica. For example, last year when my president visited, he increased the training slots, which are capacity building training programs called Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation, from 30 slots to 50 slots for Jamaica. He also announced a scholarship program for Jamaican students from undergrad level to PhD level, 5 slots, which we will be implementing this year. In fact, we have announced and we have called for application from potential candidates from Jamaica to study in India. So these are the specific reasons why I thought I would just interact with you. We are also happy to have Dr. Guna with us. He has been a living example for us, Indian person of Indian origin, having gone abroad, have practiced as a medical doctor, but has ventured into as a medical entrepreneur or a business person, whatever term you apply on him. But he has been prospering in this country, and this has been a case for India, that we are thankful to the host countries wherever they are, that they have been given an opportunity to exploit their talents, exploit the expertise that they have. And Dr. Kunai is one of those who have succeeded in all the things that he has been doing and in all his endeavors. He has earned the highest award for person of Indian origin in India, called Pravasi Bharati Saman Award, which was awarded to him by President of India in 2019. He will tell more about himself. He has been awarded the national award here in Jamaica, and he has been also given the award in the Caribbean region. So he will tell you more about himself. But that he has been very passionate about giving back to the society. What he is doing in Montego Bay is he is now opening up a medical school very shortly, and then he will speak more about it. Dr. Guna, may I just hand over this to you, and then you mention about it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Your Excellency. Thank you very much, sir, for a nice narrative and the programs you have embarked onto, and the India and its might and your initiatives locally here. And thank you again for introducing me to the media person here. Good afternoon to all my media friends, and thank you for coming and participating in this interactive session today. Although it's a short notice, it so happened for me to be here today with my High Commissioner here today. Pandemic has taught us many things in our life, that life is not forever. But God has given you the opportunity to survive the pandemic. That means you're destined to stay back here. That means you are here for a purpose. That's what I strongly believe in. And coming to what our High Commission is saying, India has been celebrating this Indian Diaspora Day, and we are a few days ahead of our celebrations in Jamaica, India Diaspora Day. At this time, we thought of having a quick meeting to see what we are all up to as a persons of Indian origin in Jamaica. which we made as it's our home today. I'm here 32 years in Jamaica. Our High Commissioner has taken some solid initiatives in the recent past, especially his focus was on knowledge empowerment, trying to bring the awareness as much as possible for our Jamaican people to make use of the resources that India is offering to our Jamaican citizens to go to India and study abroad with full scholarship. And whatever our High Commissioner just said, when our Honorable President of India visited last year to Jamaica, the number of scholarships have almost doubled, if I'm not wrong.
It was one, and then he now announced five.
Oh, so it's more than double.
It's a small in terms of absolute, but
Yeah, but
I
the
think in terms
percentage
of
wise,
percentage,
it makes a big difference. So there's a Jamaican saying, every every one cocoa fill a basket. That's what we strongly believe in. Little drops make a mighty ocean. For Jamaican size and population, that's a very good initiative from the Indian government. So what we are now looking into, bridging, building bridges through knowledge empowerment. Focus must be on the education and knowledge empowerment. That's what I always believe in. How could I come so many miles away from my homeland to Jamaica? And today I call Jamaica as my home. The bridges were built automatically because we were empowered with such an excellent knowledge. India has educated us. We are very grateful to our Indian citizens, the taxpayers' money that allowed us to educate and graduate as intellectuals today. And we want to use that principle as building bridges through knowledge empowerment. Because knowledge empowerment automatically transforms into economic growth and economic empowerment. When the economic empowerment reaches our citizens, we're going to say our place is one of the best, nicest place in the world to live. That means there's no room for crime. But as the saying goes, Rome was not built in a day. It will take time. But the first step is the very first step to reach our destination to wherever we want to go. So it has to be a collective effort that we all citizens must embrace. And we are here to support as a corporate sector. And our Indian High Commissioners here, his officers here, to promote these knowledge initiatives. I myself, as Dr. Guna Mukuri, started my career as an intern in Kingston. Then I graduated into a private practitioner in Lucy, Hanover. Then I moved on as an entrepreneur into the field of pharmaceuticals, subsidizing the generic drugs because generic medications are much more affordable, and that's what we brought in almost 18 years ago to Jamaica through our company, Indies Pharma. And today I feel very proud that it has been well recognized and we are listed on Junior Exchange, Jamaica Stock Exchange, on the junior market. We have delivered consistent growth and profits to the shareholders. That was one aspect of it. The initiative was the difficulty what my patients have been going through to procure or to buy the medications for chronic diseases to be using on a perpetual basis. Now, when we look into this relentless issue that we have in Jamaica, crime, how do we get rid of crime within my resources and within my mind? The only way I thought of is knowledge empowerment. We built knowledge parks in Montego Bay, Hanover, and expanding them. We built special economic zone facilities where we created place for employment. Today, we brought almost more than quarter million square foot of old buildings, abandoned buildings, white elephants, assets of the country. We repurpose them into special economic zones. So, what is next? Still, we are on a continuous hunt for, we're very thirsty for knowledge empowerment. So, that's where we took this initiative. I want to thank the government of Jamaica for accepting my application and working with me. Madam, Honorable Minister of Education, she played a very big role in listening to me and assisting us to get today the charter for our own School of Medicine, which is now opening in August 2023. The name of the school is BIMS, BIMS is the acronym, School of Medicine and Health Professions. We received the charter. What does it mean? It's named after our parent company, Bioprist Institute of Medical Sciences, School of Health Professions and Medicine. So what we did is, we're at a far advanced stage. We received the charter in September. We received accreditation in December from the University Council of Jamaica. We also received a favorable audit report from Caribbean Accreditation Authority for medical and health professions. That means we're opening Montego Bay to become another major hub for medical education in the Caribbean. We're opening our doors for the global markets. Again, it boils down to knowledge empowerment. In the whole gamut of things, when I'm looking at global markets, opening the doors of Montego Bay, Jamaica, for medical education and to become the hub for medical education, my vision is next 10 years, I want to convert Montego Bay as the number one destination for medical education in the entire Caribbean. But what's happening here in our own country? When I'm focusing on the global markets, I took a little back step and looked at our own selves. Where are we as Jamaicans? So 2 weeks ago, I was at an event as a keynote speaker for St. James Constabulary Force. I was the keynote speaker at that award ceremony. Then I said to myself, what are these people doing? They're putting their lives in danger every day in and day out. And there's no guarantee that they will go home. So I looked at their families, what is that I could do? Then I decided to offer this knowledge initiative to the children of anybody who is working for Jamaica Constabulary Force will be accommodated at our medical school by giving them $1 million a student. For 4 years, is $4 million initiative. I have embarked on it. That's almost a 20% write-off of the tuition fee to the children of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Then I looked at the wider Jamaica. Then I looked at myself, as our High Commissioner has said a while ago. I received the nation's highest civilian honor that is conferred to the Indian diaspora, and received it from the first citizen of India, from the President of India. What does it mean? And our High Commissioner said that I was also honored by our Jamaican government in 2021 with an Order of Distinction, and the Caribbean an Excellence Award for Entrepreneurship by Ansa McCall Foundation. What does it mean? Receiving an award is nothing but more responsibility is being laid on your shoulders. So how do I carry that? What is that I can give back to society is my next thing that I've been researching and searching for it. Now, as we proceed forward to celebrate our Indian Diaspora Day, then I look back 177 years ago. Recently, there was a documentary made by His Excellency through the initiative taken by the Indian government. It is such a, I had goosebumps when I was watching that documentary, how the first Indians came, how they made it as a home. And today I'm none other than one among those people who came 32 years back to Jamaica, and this is my home. Then I looked at what is that I could do as a recipient of the Indian Diaspora Award from the Government of India. Our High Commissioners have always been talking to me, Guna, we need to do something. We need to send Jamaican children from here to India. And he has been at it, and he has been very successful at it. Then I said to myself, why not we do it the other way around? So that's called as building bridges through knowledge empowerment. Then I turned back and looked at my High Commissioner and said that just like what I did for Jamaican Constabulary Force, I volunteered and I extended, and I'm extending this gift of knowledge donation to the children of the Indian diaspora, so that I feel that I am doing something back to the homeland, which gave me the birth, which gave me the education, which gave me that knowledge. I think that there's no other better way for me to pay back the country which gave me the birth, which made me an intellectual. So I feel that's the best way of paying back my dues to the country and the taxpayers' money that was invested in me. But it took 32 years for me to realize or to reach that stage to pay back to the Indian government or the citizens of India. So I would start here with my High Commissioner. He's a very inspiring man. When he speaks, you always get that adrenaline rush that you want to do something. So I said, Sir, I'm surrendering myself with this initiative. Let us extend this initiative to the Indian diaspora through your mission, not only to Jamaica. Let's spread the goodness across the world, globally. But let's make the first step with Jamaica. Then we'll go, no, simultaneously we'll go to his jurisdiction, which is the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and Cayman. So we covered 4 countries just like that with one step, one small step. Don't think that I have not ignored Jamaica. The first step for Jamaica already made it for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, but there are several other initiatives that have been already discussed internally and will be rolling out soon for the rest of the Jamaican citizens here. What about the Caribbean? Because the Caribbean has recognized my contribution to this sector. So, having said that, this is $1 million Jamaican a year per student will be paid over a period of the entire tenure of their enrollment, which is for 4 years. That's $4 million student. And all these students must apply to our Bioprofessor of Medical Sciences. We have our Executive Dean and Provost, Dr. Professor Jeffrey East, an eminent surgeon and researcher from Jamaica, and Dr. Cheryl Bennett. She is now a Jamaican, but she is of Trinidad origin, formerly the faculty of the School of Medicine at University of the West Indies. They can guide all our children. You must be academically qualified to enroll into our institution. And the next step is they must receive a letter of authorization certified by our Indian High Commission in Kingston that yes, this person we are endorsing as a person of Indian origin. So please extend the tuition fee waiver initiative, which is scholarship, which we are putting aside for the children of the Indian diaspora in these 4 countries. Same thing would apply to the Jamaica Constabulary Force too, which we announced it about 2 weeks ago. The children must be academically fit and qualify the criteria for admission into our school. And the rest will be moving forward through our school. But of course, they are come through the respective authorities. We have Police Federation, Jamaica Police Federation. We have several organizations, but we will call it as one name as Jamaica Constabulary Force. So this will be our initiative, Your Excellency, and I'm sure this is the first step to spread the goodness and the knowledge, and is the first building block to build bridges through knowledge empowerment. Now, this is what we want to also collaborate through your office. Please connect us with the best universities, medical institutions, which is in my my core area. So we can have exchange program between Jamaica and India and spread this knowledge of medical education, bring the best to this paradise island. So having said that, I would like to thank you once again, the media, for giving this opportunity to speak, and Your Excellency, thank you very much, sir, for allowing me to serve my homeland once again in my own way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you, Dr. Guna. I think that's what I would like to highlight in this brief interaction, that he has been very passionate. So I said, why are you living out the Indian diaspora in Jamaica, as well as, in, as he rightly says, under my jurisdiction, that are the Bahamas, Cayman Island, and Turks and Caicos, and British Virgin Island. So he has agreed to extend this scholarship program in his medical school to the Indian people of Indian origin or diaspora in living in this or settled down in these countries. Thank you so much, Guna. I think that's been lovely and wonderful. And our people, our children, and students who would like to pursue medical profession will be very happy to hear that. And I wish you all the success in all your endeavors in your plan in future.
Thank you, sir.
I just would like to add on also that in terms of education and the knowledge interaction that Dr. Kunai is talking about, I made it the first point after my arrival in Jamaica to focus my attention on few things. knowledge sector is one of those. Education, of course, and health. These are closely interlinked. And as much as India is, we are a developing country with a huge number of people below the poverty line and who are very soon aspiring to catch up with other people who have reached or who have settled down in the cities, in the urban areas, and enrolling themselves in better jobs and other better source of livelihood. So there's a huge aspirational spirit in the among the population of India as well as in Jamaica. I can see that, having lived here for last 2 years now. Uh, Education is one of the fields that we have give a lot of emphasis on, and we talk about taking our expertise, the best of our institutions in India, called the technical education is the Indian Institute of Technology, called IIT, to other parts of the world. And many countries have expressed interest in having the IIT campus in the respective countries. UAE is one of the countries who have been one of the first to uh, show interest. The United Kingdom, the government also has showed interest. Tanzania, for example, have shown interest. And in this Caribbean region, as well, in fact, in the entire Latin America region, including Caribbean, Jamaica is the only country that has shown interest and whose name has been listed in, in our database in Delhi for opening an IIT campus here. Now we are negotiating with the government as well as with the universities here how the modalities to work out the possibility of opening IIT campus here also. I think that's what I would like to flag.
We can very proudly say that Jamaica is the leader now through our initiative by President of Medical Sciences to be the #1 medical institution for the entire Caribbean to be using Case Western Reserve University's intellectual property, Microsoft supported whole anatomy to teach our students. So the opportunities is enormous going forward. So we need to educate our people in the field of medicine. So that's why my statement comes. We want to make Jamaica as the #1 destination for medical education in the entire Caribbean in the next 5 to 10 years. We are on a mission right now, sir.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Rebecca Robinson, PBCJ. So a lot of things will be facilitated in this medical school, state-of-the-art equipment. Generally, a concern regarding Jamaican students, especially those that are doing medicine, is the cost. With all these additional high-end resources, what will the cost be like for students, and how will India/Jamaica help students afford these costs?
When you say high cost of medical education, where are you comparing with? Locally in Jamaica or outside of Jamaica? So locally. So when you compare to locally, where do you compare? There are many institutions. Which one are you comparing with?
At present, the University of
Okay.
the West Indies and University of Technology.
Correct. So if that is the case, originally we were on par with University of West Indies. But with this knowledge initiative, the scholarship program, we will be heavily discounted. But at the same time, we can give the scholarships to bring the cost down, but not everything, because we need an enormous amount of investment to go into to bring that the state of the art technology to be coming in play. It all comes with a cost. We are a private sector entity. So what we try to do is we tried our best. When I look at it, the cost will come down on an average of 20%. That's the initiative which I just pledged with our High Commissioner. The same thing I pledged for the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Same thing will be continued to many other needed sectors of Jamaica. But there's one that we are also formulating, which is not yet ready. We are going to go to every parish, every custos, to identify one child, brilliant, but very poor. We have a formula for them to see that that child will grow up and graduate as a doctor without any burden to the child's family. That's going to be a huge contribution from Bioprist Group towards that. That's going to be an extraordinary step, but I cannot disclose that at this moment because it's still in the baking. but it's going to be wonderful news for the country. But I would disclose it at a later time. So
Certain career fields within medicine, such as surgeons, neurosurgeons, cardiovascular surgeons, is quite difficult to attain in Jamaica, not because of cost, but because of resources. Will the new medical facility that is coming into play, will this help alleviate students from traveling overseas to have this type of specific education catered for?
because of our limited resources, we are forced to go abroad for more knowledge enrichment because there are several advancements and research oriented programs across the globe. So we have no other choice other than going to those destinations to garner the knowledge and come back and deliver the results here because we do not have such resources. Now, that's what we're also focusing. I mentioned a point during my earlier conversation. We already signed an MOU with the University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB, in Birmingham City, Alabama, one of the finest medical institutions in the United States. Currently, it is number eighth largest hospital in the United States. Within the next few months or within this year, I believe it's going to be the top five. It will be going up the ladder because when the new hospital blocks are going to open up. So that's the school which wrote our Bible of Medicine, Principles and Practice of Medicine by Professor Harrison is from that institution. Thyroid disease, Graves' disease was discovered by Professor Thyroid, the surgeon from UAB Birmingham. So we already signed an MOU with the Hearsing School of Medicine at UAB campus with the Institute of Biomedical Innovation, where we are bringing AI in medicine to Montego Bay through our campus. So that also comes with a research component in it. So UAB, I was there in early February in meetings at UAB with the Dean of Medicine and his deputy deans. So we are also planning to bring Global Health Unit, which brings a research-oriented programs into our country. And from here, we will be spreading that to the entire Caribbean. So we'll become the epicenter for such kind of programs through our institution. Mention not about it. We're also bringing sports medicine and sports science and medicine into Montego Bay. We already signed an MOU with Logan University in St. Louis, Missouri. I was there last week at that university. Fortunately, one of the deans happens to be a Jamaican citizen. Dr. April Taylor. I believe she will be in Jamaica this week. So we're also bringing chiropractic medicine, but they all will come with a research component in it. That means we are building, but the problem with Jamaica is none of us have taken that risk historically to bring them and to develop them. No private sector entity has done it, but we decided to take that risk. And I believe the success will be on a higher side than the failure. So my gut feeling says, or the intuition says that this is the time to do all those things. Let's do it. Once we start doing it, let someone come and grab the baton from me and carry it forward, the legacy, whatever we're going to build. And to conclude this, my answer to you, that's where I said initially, this medical school is a prelude for the state-of-the-art hospital, which we have already designed, well, the preliminary design, which is going to be 300-bed, multi-speciality, US Joint Commission certified hospital, so that it will accept any patient globally, any health insurance can be accepted there, which is nothing but medical tourism. So this will evolve the education, the research, and then the medical tourism. And there are many others in the pipeline. That's where I'm asking His Excellency to intervene at this time, along with us, walk with us, and allow us to reach some of the premium institutes in India. He spoke to you a while ago about IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, where the CEO of Microsoft, CEO of Google, they're all from there. Now, even the World Bank president is now, the MasterCard previously, is now going to be heading the World Bank. These people all came from these institutions, which our High Commissioner just mentioned. In Montego Bay, with the kind of technology we're bringing into our medical school, we already made a mandate. Our provost, Professor Jeffrey East, the famous surgeon and the researcher, is still the honorary dean of medicine for University of the West Indies. He's retired now. He has a strong passion towards research and clinical training. So we decided to start conducting workshops on the weekends for the medical fraternity in Jamaica. So it just is a magic. Just watch it. That's the kind of technology. I cannot explain to you in words. Once we are ready, you must come and inspect what we are putting in place. Then you will understand the kind of technology we are bringing in.
And what time frame are you looking at?
We are shooting for August 21st as the indicative date. The, 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 the building is built already.
Building is there.
Just the interior infrastructure is going on now. I believe we have enough time for August 21st to open up. Currently, we are in the process of hiring faculty. Interviews are going on. From next month, we're enrolling the students. So we're at a far advanced stage at this moment.
What's the maximum enrollment at present?
Um, I will not give you a direct answer to it. The facility has been built in such a manner that at any given time, you can have 400 students comfortably seated in that 50,000 square foot facility. So indirectly, I'm saying to you, the capacity is up to 400 students, but we do not know how many will join us in the first year. But the capacities are there to address our immediate future. Immediate future, which is like next 4 or 5 years, we are going to be very, very good with that facility what we built.
And as medical is a hands-on process, with all this new technology being incorporated, will there be any room to provide online support for students? Not all classes have to be face-to-face.
I must give all the credit to Professor Rubin Pillai, the Deputy Dean of Medicine at University of the Alabama, Birmingham. He is now the Executive Director of the Institute of Biomedical Innovation, which is teaching artificial intelligence in medicine, digitization of the healthcare. He has mentored me. He is the man behind all the technology that I am bringing to Montague Bay. He's a dear friend of mine. He said to me, Guna, if you are going to do another medical school that we all studied 36 years ago, 40 years ago, I'm not going to be with you. We have to be very disruptive. We have to make medical education as a commodity. You're somewhere in Port Morant, in St. Thomas. You will get the same kind of class what you will have the live lectures on our campus in Montague Bay. It's going to be fully online. Well, again, I want those things to be spoken by our executive dean, Dr. Cheryl Bennett, or the provost. I don't want to talk too much of their content. Yes, the answer is we want to make medical education a commodity. All you need is a little bit of support, economical support that we already giving you, and the family has to support, the society has to support, depending on the economies of scale, who you are, where the student is coming from. But our agenda is to revolutionize medical education. We want to make medical education a commodity, not just a noble profession only for a certain class of people. This is called as knowledge empowerment, knowledge enrichment. There's a whole idea of this after we're talking, building bridges with knowledge empowerment, not just between Jamaica and India, between Montague Bay and St. Thomas. That's where I started my first practice in Yalas in 1997. I haven't forgotten St. Thomas. So that's why I use the word Port Morant. So yes, it will come to your doorstep, to your desktop, the teaching. And interactive, that's why I said technology-driven interactive learning is key. Indeed, yes. Your Excellency, we signed the MOU with the University of West Indies in May 2021, and we are still going by that commitment. The difference is that we have a new dean, Professor Minerva Thame. We've been in dialogue with her. They will be taking some level of responsibility from us. We indicated, we said yes, that the clinical rotations that they are willing to have it arranged for the students coming to our school. When we studied medicine, we had to do anatomy, the dead body. Then you had to learn physiology. Then you had to learn the disease process, pathology. What we are trying to do is we're trying to merge three together. The digital table, what we're using, or the hollow anatomy, what we're going to use. You see the human body. Same time, you can touch a button and the life will come into the heart. The heart will start beating. You can see life. And you can say, I want to see the skeleton of the heart where the nervous system is there. The muscle disappears, the skeleton of the heart comes. You can see how the nerve supply, how the electrical impulse will go. Now you heard of a heart test, ECG. Then you can say, I want to do a record of the ECG of this beating heart, and then you see the ECG running. Then you can control with a touch of your finger. It's like a table, this size table, like an iPad. So with the touch of finger, you control your heart rate. You can see how the ECG is changing. Back then, we have to read the anatomy. And then how do we learn ECG? We have to open the book, see the ECG graphs. Oh, this is P, this is Q, this R, this S wave and T wave. This is how the wave looks like when you have a heart attack. But here, this table comes with the pre-programmed scans and everything. So you can learn anatomy, simultaneously physiology, and now you have disease. If you have something disease, you can also integrate the disease, including the microscopic microanatomy, what you call slides, microscopic. When I went to UV the other day, I saw a lab full of 100 microscopes. I'm not going to use any microscope. This virtual table is connected onto large 85-inch screens in the classroom. Plus, every student desk is wired with USB ports and fiber optics. So what the lecturer is teaching there is there displaying on you. You don't need to use a microscope to see a slide, the microscopic structure. And this table comes with about 1400 plus microscopic microanatomy slides embedded in it. How do you learn X-rays and CT scans, MRI scans? There are already the diseased persons with the diseases and the scans already embedded in the table. There are about 1450 scans in it. It's a magical way of learning. So that's why we are going to be partnering with UV, and it's going to be cross collaboration. It's going to bring the value to both institutions.
Another question that I have. You said that you'll be providing $1 million per year for a student of the GC, who was a parent in the GC.
Yeah, you don't have to be a police officer. Anybody working for Jamaica Constabulary Force. Once you are qualified academically, you fit in the criteria to get admission into the school, like basic 90
So
credits.
as long as you're a student or a child of somebody who works for the GC,
Yes.
you'll get $1 million.
If a police officer has about 6 children, all of them are qualified. We give to all the 6 children.
Has there been an arrangement with the Student Loan Bureau for those students who want to attend but who need additional assistance?
We have not contacted Student Loan Bureau because we are not loan bureau. We are a scholarships bureau.
Yes, but
So-
normally universities have dialogue with them and so forth to help enable students to go through the process a bit easier, similar to NCU.
I will have to pass on that question to Dr. East and Dr. Bennett because there are certain things that I am very good at speaking. There are certain things that I am not so good at disclosing. It's better when you interview them, Professor Jeff East and Dr. Bennett, they will give you the specific answer. No, it's a very good one. I mean, it's thought-provoking. That never came into our minds. That's how we private sector think. We want to just do it. Yeah. We don't want to depend on others. So, but I will take this subject by liaising with the Student Loan Bureau, how they can become part of it. Makes life easier for some of the students. It's a very good thought. Thank you.
In addition to how this will benefit Jamaica moving forward, economically, generally, when a business comes in, especially private sector, other companies from the island tend to benefit. So tourism, craft market, what Jamaican companies or what areas will see a high intake of uptick that is our own economy?
I was waiting why nobody asked me that so far that question. Thank you again. If you see some of the successful institutions in the East Caribbean, their country's GDP depends on those schools. I cannot call these names at this interview, but you know what I'm making reference to. There's some in Antigua, some in Grenada, and all these things. They have changed the whole country's economy. But in my view, as a citizen of this country for 32 years, I've been questioning myself why Jamaica did not open this market. The reason was our citizens, in my view, Jamaican people with wealth, somehow they were afraid of exploring this sector, medical education and the hospital business. So a time has come. I believe the time is right. It's an opportune time. God has given the blessings to us. Jamaican people has blessed me, and our Indian government has blessed me. Let's take the risk. There's nothing for me to lose. If I had to lose, I'll go back and practice as a doctor. What if I can transform the country, the society, is a great deal of benefit. Now, what it can do to the economy. If you notice, Jamaica is a fantastic, I mean, Montego Bay is the destination for this kind of investments. We have 65 flights at an average every day out and 65 in into Montego Bay. Now the frontier has opened to remote destinations, non-stop flights. The other day I flew non-stop from St. Louis after meeting this university, 3.5 hours in Montego Bay. If I had to go to East Caribbean, you have to spend an overnight in Florida. So there are many distinct advantages, not just geographical benefits, the weather, the air travel for the students and their parents. Look at, I'm on the elegant corridor, tourism corridor. All the hotels will get full with rooms the day we have 2,000, 3,000 students. Look at the spillover benefits. It's going to spill over Nine Shore everywhere. The housing market will boom. I will not be able to build enough student dormitories. Look what we did is again repurposing this. We are social capitalists. We didn't buy properties in a posh areas. We picked right beside flankers. We picked 60 apartment complex. We are now transforming it into 48 apartment complex. We're going to put our students there. So our image will add to the neighborhood near flankers. People have a stigma, but we don't. Our institution is on this side of flankers. Our student accommodation on this side of the flankers. We want to infuse that goodness into those communities. And we are bringing summer science camps already. We did two, but with pandemic we stopped. Now we are bringing the summer science camp through the University of Alabama, Birmingham, into our institution, and we will educate middle schoolers and high schoolers towards research. We did that for 2 consecutive years before pandemic. We mobilized students from Negril, Orange Bay to Flankers, Montego Bay using JETC buses, well, Mobile Metro buses. And then children, when they came to our science camps, when asked their questions, what do you want to become in the future? We don't know. But the same child, 2 weeks after the science camp, they were trained by the PhD scholars. They could extract DNA from human saliva and the banana peel. And when I asked them, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go to UAB. The language changed, the persona has changed. So you know what knowledge can do, knowledge empowerment. So we are transforming that area also. The elegant corridor is going to be a real elegant corridor. So the housing, the transport, the taxi operators, the bus operators, hotels, restaurants, beaches. Imagine the young cohort of students coming from all over the world to Montego Bay. So you name it, we are not going to limit it to craft market or tourism areas. We will complement the tourism product also.
A lot of things have been said. How long did this take to come into actualization? Could you give us a time frame in regards to years?
To where I reached this far, how will
Yes. So
my
Working back.
going back?
yes. So was it like a 5 year coming? Because if you're opening in August, then I believe a lot of groundwork has already taken place.
You'll not believe it started in 2003. My passion towards creating this medical school. But where, when, how big is my campus? How can I make it as a statement for the global, with the global outlook? So 2003 started. I went to India to start a medical school. I wasn't pleased. I came back again. We started Indies Pharma. And then I was on a continuous hunt for a campus setting. We ended up buying the two factories where I used to work as a physician, jockey factories in Hanover. That was in 2015. Even though I bought the two factories, I converted them into BPO, Special Economic Zone centers. I was not still happy. 30 miles out of Montego Bay, Lucy becomes a rural area. How do I give a global appeal to the global market? So that's how we ended up buying a couple of years back, 2 years ago, 65 acres in Iron Shore, Montego Bay, to build a complete turnkey medical city. But the time that's taking with the regulatory, we have to do a lot of legwork, environmental impact assessment studies and planning and NEPA approvals. You know what? Let that take its own time. We acquired an existing building. We transformed that into 50,000 square feet facility on the highway at the stoplight just before you reach the airport, making a visible statement. I was very pleased with the location and the global appeal it can bring. Let us start it now.
And could you just give us an estimation of how much this all costs from acquiring the building, renovations, and so forth?
You're looking comfortably $26 million.
Jamaican or USD?
US.
Very crazy.
Yeah, 26,
26.
26. And so she's talking about the property, the building, rebuilding the building, doubling the space, and the infrastructure and the working capital, because that's a part of the accreditation requirements. You have to show that you're financially well off, that you can produce one graduating class. You need to show that financially you're strong enough that the institution will not let the student down. So the way how accreditation is going to be centering into, you have to be student centric, not capital centric. Everything is about the student, everything about student experience. That's why I'm putting even hammocks in my library. When you're tired, you sleep. When you get up, you have a 4,000 square foot of recreation center and a cafeteria, including your pool table, foosball, everything for the students. Someone was telling me that it looked like they're not going to go to the dormitories to sleep. They're going to live there. And funny enough, I mean, I had this experience in St. Louis, at St. Louis University. I was with my son attending interviews. I was at a nice hotel by Westin, very modern, which is for the young 20-25 age group. Then I looked at the furniture. My auditoriums and lecture rooms have a bar tables at the back, like how we have airport lounges and the hotel lounges, lobbies. The last rows are bar tables. The front seats are like a cinema theater seating. In the middle, we have desk experience. We have a mix of everything in it. So it's student centric. So you have to show some kind of investment to get the accreditation moving forward.
Great. I think satisfied. Can we close? Happy? Yeah. I think I hope. Yeah.
No, I'm awake. I'm awake.
You okay?
No,
You're
no, are
awake.
you okay? You're keeping quiet. That's not usual of Mr. Rose, you know.
No, I'm just listening. But I'm listening to my notes.
Okay. No. Thank you so much. I think it's been a very fruitful interaction. I think the purpose of this very needed and small briefing is being fulfilled. I think, yeah. Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, my
Excellency,
friends,
and thank you all.
for coming in for this. I think we should do this more frequently.